Welcome to the Stronger, Fitter, Happier podcast. I'm your host Vin, and today we are discussing time management, specifically organizing your time and schedule a little bit better so that you can make sure you achieve a task. We're going through the number one reason why people fail when they're trying to achieve a new goal or start on something new, whether it's to do with your fitness, to do with your health, that sort of thing. So if that's of interest to you and you want to achieve the goals you have for yourself, then make sure you listen to this episode. Alright, so for anyone who is watching, today's topic is all about time management. So it's about kind of organizing your plate a little bit better. And what I mean by plate is your 24-hour clock. So I have an analogy for your day basically, and I look at it as like a plate. So if you think of your plate like a plate that you eat off of, look at that as a clock. If you put it into 24-hour segments, so little slips of 24-hour segments, that makes up your day on the plate. Now, when you're eating your dinner, people often think of their kind of day as a dinner plate. So they will pile stuff on top of the dinner plate in terms of food, and they build it up that way, and that's how a lot of people's days look. So rather than looking at it as a 24-hour clock in segments, like a pie, like Mariam just said, they look at it as a 3D object and they pile it up. Whereas if you look at your day like that, it's very easy to run into trouble and feel stressed out, because rather than using the 24-hour segments that you've got on the plate, you've ended up kind of making your clock into a 3D object when it's not. So what you need to kind of think about in terms of when you're organizing your day and organizing the tasks and things you have to do is there's only a limited amount of space on your plate. You can't say you're going to, let's say, sleep for 8 hours. That takes a big chunk of your circular plate away. Then you can't say that you're going to have breakfast for an hour and, get ready in an hour after that, and then do something else, and then do something else, and then all your segments are gone for work and things like that. And then say, I'm going to add in, a workout, or I'm going to organize my nutrition, or I'm going to go and see friends and things like that. And then you can't add on more stuff on top of that. You're just going to run into trouble because you're going to run out of time. And that's how people look at their schedules almost. They, rather than look at them as segments and hour by hour slots, we'll look at them as like a plate that you can simply overload with loads and loads of things. And it just doesn't work like that. You run into trouble very fast. And what often people do is when it comes to fitness goals and things like that, they already have very busy schedules. They've got kids, they've got, work, they've got things to, they have to do, like sleep, go to the toilet. Loads of other things that you do that make up your day, that build your day and fill out your 24-hour day. And then they add on things like, I need to look after my nutrition, I need to prep my food, I need to go for a walk, I need to work out. And then because you don't have time, you fail. You constantly fail because you failed to organize your day in a way that works for your lifestyle. So whenever someone's starting a goal, what I always say, starting a goal of, especially around fitness or nutrition or health, I always say to them, do you have space on your plate for this? On your metaphorical time plate, do you have space? And if you don't, what are you going to take out rather than what are you going to pile on top? So let's say, for example, you have a very, very busy day, but you still have time to browse Facebook for an hour throughout the whole day. You have time to watch TV for a couple of hours before you hit the bed. And you can talk on the phone for a little while as well. If you want to, add in a goal of exercising or achieving weight loss or whatever it is, you then need to look at what can I take away to make space for this new thing that I have to do if you've got a very busy schedule and no free time. Which often we feel like most of us will, listening to this, will feel like we have no free time at all. And what we need to look at is our priorities. So what are we doing every single day? and what are we trying to achieve? Do they match up? And if they don't, then you need to kind of change your scheduling and your priorities a little bit. So if you've got, let's say, a goal of losing weight, you have no free time, but you have time for TV, or I don't know, listening to music for an hour. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Don't get me wrong. I watch TV, I listen to stuff, I listen to podcasts, I do all sorts of things that may seem to somebody else as a waste of time. To me though, it might be important, and that's what I'm saying. Look at your goals, what you want to achieve, and then look at what you're doing and look at your priorities list. Do they match up? And if they do, that's fine. But if they don't, then what can you take away from your plate, your already full plate, to replace and add something new in so that your plate stays full, or maybe doesn't stay full, but isn't overloaded? Because an overloaded plate, and I'm talking about a metaphorical plate obviously, for anyone just tuning in, it leads to failure. You will never succeed. You will never achieve the goals you have for yourself with a full plate. So hopefully my kind of little analogy there of a plate and kind of doing it that way, explaining it that way, makes sense to you and really helps you see that. If you are someone who constantly feels like you're doing too much, you're failing all the time, you haven't got the time to achieve the goals, you're always behind on tasks. Maybe it's a fact, it's just that you're doing too much and you need to take away some of the tasks that aren't bringing you value in the way that you want them to. Or maybe they are things that you're doing that they do bring you value, but you just need to organize better and make them a bit more like in business, for example, there's a lot of tasks that people do that could be automated or could be delegated. That sort of thing. If there's things that you do at home, could your partner or your family members take them off your plate so that you have more time to give to yourself, give to your goals, give to thriving and achieving success in whatever goal you have right now to help you become stronger, fitter and happier. So have a think about that. We are coming towards the end of today's episode, so just have a think about that. Let me know your thoughts, what you're thinking. Hopefully that was of use to you. I'm trying to keep these kind of live streams very short and brief when I'm just talking, rather than going on and on and on, so that I don't lose your attention. When it's me just talking on my own, it is, I guess, a little bit more boring to watch. But just let me know, give me some feedback, and I will be catching you on the next live stream and the next episode of this podcast.